know it's true. Everything I did, do it for. There's no way. Everything I do it for. There's no love like your love and no other. There's no way I'm gonna hold down all the way. Can make a love shout out. We can make a love shout out. Everything I do it for. There's no love like your love and no other. All the time, all the way. Look into your heart. Bigyan Miguel of shout out sa ating 2 million viewers. Bigyan Miguel of shout out. Hello, 2 viewers. Pa-live chat na lang po sa mga nanonood. Bigyan of shout out. Bigyan of shout out. Sa ating 2 viewers, bigyan of shout out. Live chat na lang po sa ating mga viewers dyan para ma-recognize natin. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Lights up, everything else.
The question is, do you want new? Or are you so in love with old that new turns you off? Are you so in love with yesterday that you don't even want to see tomorrow?
Consistency is showing up when you really don't feel like it. So what do you want to achieve this year?
The circumstances that we are facing, there will be many more that will come our way. But we are strong. Not just physically, not just mentally, but it's the warrior spirit inside that will push you through anything. If you don't have a dream, this is the time to establish your dream. Rule number 1, you need a dream. You need a goal.
It's going to be up to you to nurture and protect that desire. Your mind should be so focused on winning that you have tunnel vision.
It is time to press refresh. What does that mean? It means that it is time to become the newest, most updated version of who you are. So make your stand and fight hard and be strong every day. No weakness, no chance of giving in. Every year, every opportunity that we have been given, it would either make us or it would break us. You are not allowed to be broken. You are not allowed to give in. You are not allowed to say that it's over. You have to guard your hunger. And the only way you're going to do that is if you eliminate all distractions out of your life. These are not your settling years, these are your conquering years. These are not your years where you just settle for an average marriage and settle for an average career and settle for an average worship life. No, this is the year that you decide, I want new, I want fresh, I want the real stuff. Let me tell you this, the wolf that is on the hill is never as hungry as the wolf that is climbing the hill. And so you gotta get hungry and you have to stay hungry. A dream without a deadline will become your nightmare. And that nightmare will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Your dream might look like a long shot today, but if you align your daily routine with your goals, there is nowhere to go but up.
You need to say, God, I need you to update me. I need you to refresh me. I need you to reload something in my life because a new year requires a new mindset, a new focus, and a new engagement on my part. Everybody say new. It is time to hit refresh. God is saying it's time to upload. It's time to say, God, what is the revelation you're giving to me now? See, I love January. I love the beginning of the year because this is the time of year we get to hit refresh on every area of my life. I know there's a movement that says don't make New Year's resolutions and they don't work, but I don't believe in that. Even if your resolution only lasts for 6 weeks, that's fine. What I love is the process that you sat down and thought about, where am I? Where am I trying to go? What am I trying to get done? What am I trying to do? I know they say it's January, here we go, new year, new me. You need to say, no, this is a new season. This is a new month. This is a new year. It is a new time for me to find out, where am I going? This is the time to ask yourself, where are you? Where are you spiritually? Where are you at with God? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you dry or are you on fire? Are you dry or are you afresh? Where are you at spiritually? Where are you at relationally? Do people like you? Do you like you?
If your mind is all over the place, you gotta take some time to clear your mind. Declutter your mind. Get clarity on what's serving you and what's not. Get clarity on what's pushing you closer to your goals and what's getting you off track. You see, your daily agenda, it determines your success. So what do you need to do every single day to set yourself up for success? Is it meditating? Is it hitting the gym? Is it making sales calls? Is it creating content? Whatever it is, it has to become a part of your daily routine. And know that a process will always precede promotion. So the pressure that you experience usually mirrors the elevation that is coming. But once you decide what path you're going to take, the key is to not look back. Focus on walking out your plan and don't major in the minor. There are some things that you put your time and energy into in the past that did more harm than good. But in this season, you've got to protect your energy, and you can't overthink everything.
Deliberately examine the landscape of your inner circle. Who in your life is not feeding you possibility? Who are you letting to infiltrate your mind on a daily basis? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who has access to you? And if they're not people that expand your awareness of what is possible, then you have to eliminate them. Eliminate all distractions. See, let me tell you something. In life, you don't get what you want. You get what you have to have. We don't get the list of what we should do done. We get the list of what we must do done. And then you gotta spend every single solitary day for the rest of your life going after that dream. What is your dream?
This chance is all up to you, and you alone. You the individual. You are the person. But then it comes to us as the people. We may not all think the same, but we all have the ability to come together in love, to be able to move on to the best thing in our lives. No more will we submit. No more will we say we're done. You're not done yet. Your life is still here. You have it. It is in you. It is in us. In 2021, here we come. And we're going to do what's necessary to live on strong. To all the beautiful people in the world, I want you to be strong. I want you to continue to move forward. And from the bottom of my heart, 2021
We are one, and we all must conduct our business.
You have it right. It's very clear. The message is very clear. First, you have to have a dream, so we know what our goal is every day, right? If you have a dream, you know where to go. Work on it every day. Eliminate all the distraction. Focus on the dream. The dream, give it a time. There should be a smart time. Time frame to achieve those goals. So it won't be very long or be realistic in putting time in those things.
Your mind has to seek discomfort. It has to seek these difficult tasks. You have to enjoy it. And you have to figure out a way to make your mind enjoy those things. Some people it comes easy and some people it doesn't. Some people it takes a long time. I always tell people the best thing you could ever do is force yourself to a schedule. Just write it down. Like today I have to do an hour on the treadmill. I have to do an hour, no matter what. Even if you've been walking, you're doing an hour on a treadmill. The next time you're doing it, just okay, you did an hour and this is the amount of miles you got in. Next time you're gonna, add 3 miles. Put an extra 3 miles in that 1 hour. And just keep doing things like that. Write down, today I'm gonna do 100 push-ups, I'm gonna do 100 sit-ups, and I'm gonna do 100 chin-ups. That's today. And then force yourself to adhere to a schedule. Make a Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout schedule. Give yourself some time off, Like don't even crush yourself to the point where you can't do it. Make it so that you really appreciate those Tuesdays and Thursdays. But on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're gonna get after it, and this is what you're gonna do. Most people just try to go work out, and you're kind of aimless, and you show up, and you pick up the jump rope, and you jump a little rope, maybe you hit the heavy bag a little bit, maybe you do some curls, but you don't really have an aim. That's why people like to hire trainers, because the trainer will tell you what to do. Well, you can tell yourself what to do. If you don't have money for a trainer, you don't even have to have equipment. With bodyweight squats, sit-ups, chin-ups, push-ups, you could give yourself a brutal full bodyweight workout. And you can find these for free on YouTube. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of these bodyweight workouts you can do. Just force yourself. Write it down. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to do 100 push-ups. I'm going to do 100 chin-ups. I'm going to do 100 sit-ups. Even if it takes me all day. Even if I have to do 10 and 10 and 10 and keep going all day, that's what you do. Do 10 push-ups, take a break for 20 minutes, do another 10. But get those 100 in. I don't believe in half-assing things. This life is short. If you get into something, get into it. And if you're not into it, don't be into it. And I think that insanity and greatness are next door neighbors, and they borrow each other's sugar. That's my that's what I've always said. There's something about mastery, like true mastery, that requires you to shut off massive areas of your life. There's a lot of people that are scared of their ability to do something that's difficult. I don't know if I could force myself to be disciplined. I don't know if I could force myself to take that kind of action. Well, if you do force yourself to take that kind of action, you don't have that question anymore. That question, I don't know if I can do it. Well, you're doing it. So you obviously can do it. Can you do it tomorrow? Can you do it today? Or can you do it tomorrow? Just do it. You get so much more benefit out of a struggle that you choose to embark in versus a struggle that life throws upon you. Get out there and go do something. Just go. And then in the middle of doing it, it'll become easy. Even if it's not easy, even if it's hard, it's easier than not doing it and wishing that you had done it. Oftentimes people confuse discipline with focus. And this is why that's important. There are things that some people can excel at because they're focused on them and because they're drawn to it and they have an incredible passion for it. Versus, like, you tell a guy, like, hey, you know, you're going to study to be an electrical engineer. It's like, I don't want to be an electrical engineer. Hey, well, you got to have discipline. And so they don't have the drive, and they don't get excited about it, and they don't do. But if you tell that guy, whatever, you're going to be a golfer, and he loves golf, and he's practicing every day, and he becomes a professional golfer. And you say, well, I thought that guy didn't have any discipline. Well, it's not that he didn't have any discipline. He's just not interested in that other thing. I was never a disciplined kid, but I would find things that I loved, and I was obsessed. And I always felt embarrassed by it, because people would say, oh, your son, like to my mom, your son is so disciplined. And she'd be like, my son's crazy. Like, he's not disciplined. He finds these things, and that's all he does all day long. Like, it's not really discipline, because he doesn't clean his room. He's fucking lazy. There's all sorts of shit he's supposed to do. I never did my homework. There's all that. But if I had a thing that I was into, I was obsessed.
You were crazy about it.
But it would bother me that I didn't really have discipline. Like, if I had jobs that I had to do, I didn't do a good job at them, like construction jobs that I had. But when it came to martial arts,
things, though? How did you find those things? You stumbled on
lucky. Just got lucky. Martial arts, I just got lucky. And it clicked with me, like, almost immediately. I became obsessed, you know, and I wanted to excel at it. And so I was just doing it all day long. And I think the more you choose to embark in these struggles, these especially physical and mental struggles, because I consider both martial arts, yoga, and actually even trail running, I consider the mental struggles as much as physical struggles. Like, because I can stop anytime I want. I'm halfway up the hill, I can go, fuck this, I'm walking the rest of the way. Yeah. Call my dog over, put him on the leash, I'm like, we're walking, buddy. But, or you could say, no, this is what I'm doing today. I have a very clear plan in front of me. My plan is, we're doing 4 miles today. This is where we start. This is where we end. This is what we're doing. Sometimes when things are really hard to do, you think, oh my God, I gotta stop doing this. But once you do it and you complete it, you have a satisfaction, this sense of satisfaction that you did something really difficult that is irreplaceable. Some kids never get that, and they just stay fat and stupid their whole life. And some kids, they get these little lessons, and then they realize, like, you can push yourself and you can get somewhere. You know, some kids get real lucky and they get involved in sports or martial arts early, and one of the best benefits of sports is you realize that through hard work you get improvement, through improvement you get success, through success you get that big dopamine rush, you get that good feeling, you get confidence, you get this knowledge. You get, sometimes I didn't, but you get this knowledge that you can do something that's difficult and you can overcome, even though it feels like you can't. You're gonna have days where you suck, but those days are so motivational. I mean, that's the bright side of tragedy. So when you come through it, you really will have an appreciation for the moments without tragedy. You don't really feel it unless life burns you. You don't really feel it. It's one of the things that I tell people all the time, because a lot of people have a hard time defining themselves. They define themselves by failure because they failed. But I'm like, you're not your failures, you're you. Okay, your life is a series of lessons you've learned. Now, if you just dwell on the failures, like, that's not healthy, it's not smart, and it's not empowering. What you gotta do is look at those failures and go, well, now you know what not to do. But you're not that, you're you. You know, you could have done the stupidest shit ever, but it's not you. It's not you. You're a different thing. You're the being that's experiencing all these failures. And if you know that they're fuck-ups, then you've learned, okay? If you repeat them over and over again, well, then I can't talk to you. You know, if you keep going back and doing the same stupid shit over and over again, well, you got a deeper issue. You know, I don't know what it is, but I don't have the time. Building up that ability to endure things, that's also a very important mechanism that you could apply to everyday life. Like that, the mechanism of understanding how to endure. Like Jocko Willink's perfect example. You know, he has that thing on his, if you go to his Instagram page, almost every other photo is a watch. And it's a watch that says 4:30 in the morning. So that's when he gets up and he works out. And he earns the sunset. And he does that. He's so disciplined. And he's got this saying, that's a great saying, discipline equals freedom. That's true. Because he's able to force himself to do that every single time. There's no excuses. There's no breaks. There's no days off. It doesn't happen. So because of that, you're not scared. You know that you can keep doing it. You know that you can continue to perform. There's a lot of people just running from discomfort. They're running from it. They're just avoiding it. It's so easy to. And if you get distracted for a second, you're like, let me check my phone. You just start going through your phone and looking at bullshit, and you're just distracting yourself from the tiniest frustration of boredom. Just a little, we don't get bored anymore. If we get bored for these tiny amounts of time, then you get distracted. So your distraction is eliminating your boredom. But the problem with that is there's certain thoughts that only come to you when you're thinking, when you don't have any input coming in. When we're constantly looking at our phones, the only input you're getting is input from other people. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes you get good stuff out of that, but it's like a diet of only fruit. Don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learned. And to have that attitude is a really important thing. And to not say, why am I doing this now? I could have been doing this my whole life. Well, you weren't, so the fuck is that going to help? Yeah.
Yeah, heard it right. We had a lot of motivation right now. Yeah. We need a lot of motivation right now. I correlate. What's this one? Oh, carnitine.
We said to have an extraordinary life, you gotta have an extraordinary psychology, right? Extraordinary psychology means you gotta live in an extraordinary state. To be in an extraordinary state, you gotta condition your nervous system, your body, your physiology, and focus to be at their best. Then to do that, though, you can do that. Why doesn't everybody? Not because you can't. We all have the ability. It's because of our standards. Think about your own life. I know there have been areas in your life where some point in time you just shifted and you raised the standard and your life changed. Because whatever people have their identity attached to, they live. We live who we believe we are.
My journey from here to there was lonely. The reason? I was willing to be wrong and admit wrong so that I could grow and so that I could change. You see, growth is a result of bad habits dropped, wrong priorities changed, and new ways of thinking embraced. It happens only when we question ourselves enough to ask serious questions from others. The people who do not grow are unwilling to ask themselves or others hard questions. They are unwilling to leave what they have known and practiced. They are not willing to be wrong so they can discover what is right. Therefore, they cling to right, and their lives turn out wrong. How sad.
We get what we're looking for. We filter out everything else in our life. You're going to get what you're looking for even if it doesn't even exist. Even if it's not even there. If you're looking for negatives, if you're looking for setbacks, if you're looking to be looked over, you will find it even though it's not supposed to be there. But if you're looking for victory, for winning, for recruits, for people to change your life, for magic moments, you will find them if you're looking for them. I promise you that's true in life. Your brain, when you condition it, knows exactly what to go for and will find a way to get there. When you decide what's most important to you, your brain goes after it.
Surrender of being right enables us to ask questions that others can answer and add value to us. Surrender of being right is the prerequisite to finding right. I believe that with all my heart. And here's what I know. I never want to get to the place where I've got it all figured out. I still want to keep learning, I still want to keep growing, and I still want to be a student. And I still want to be on a learning curve, and I still want to value people, and I still want to walk into their life and say, look, you have something that if I could just ask the right question, you could impart to me that would help me, that would allow me to become a better person myself. Ego is...
I want a pizza. It's under. Ole, ole, ole. Now that you feel me, whenever we're meant to be together. Out there you wonder, now that you feel me, whenever we're meant to be together. Now that you feel me. Biglang love shout out like thumbs up. Thank you very much. Speaking of shout out, yun. Meron tayong meters. Now that you feel me, whatever, we're meant to be together.
Tapos natawa nga ako eh. Mobile Legends sa stream, tapos nakikita ko sumasayaw. Palabas. Sa stream ba rin yan? TikTok pa. TikTok pa. Sumasayaw. Sexy dance. Tapos nakaraan. Kita yung clipping. Nakaraan kami na. Dito ko nakita. Naka-live stream lang yan kay Jessica Soho. Nakita ko yung di ba sa Soho, tapos naka-live stream gamer na babae na sumasayaw. More. Meron ganda yung online macho dancer. Oo, tuloy na, kumikita rin siya. Dami tip ba? Facebook gaming. Binibigay yung mga viewers na diba? Papahay na tayo sa kabaho. gano'n. Sa opisina ni Ma'am. Sabi niya, sabi niya, gusto kayo. Pauwi pa lang. Pauwi. Mga boys. Yung iba doon, na-release niya sa company. Si Rehan na-release sa company. Si Yasin na-release sa company. Kasi release sila. Tatanong pa sila yung iba. Si Marco na rin na sa akin. Ayaw sa akin. Makaawa na rin. Ginagawa nila ay ng sistema ba para sa nakahanap sila ng bago nilang ano sa nila mas kawawa ko Ibram si Ibram hindi mo pala hindi ko yata kasi yung iba doon, hindi na fit to work. Tapos ang isang trabaho, ang sabi mo, binigyan na siya ng 2 opportunity sa akin. Kasi magtrabaho pa dito sa construction sa or sa lang, please, bayaran mo yung ginawa ko yung mga pinag-process sa'yo. Mayroon siya ganyan. Sisira yung dinakita. Kasi may bigla naman nagbago. Binigyan siya ng 1 year contract. Vendetta. Ano yun? 1 year contract. Ginagawa niya sa akin. Pero hindi ko pa. Sa construction siya. Okay, sila yung construction. Dapat, sila kaya yung mga pangu dito. Alam nila? Hindi ano. Hindi ako malakad. Walang kami. Kaya. Hindi na nila natin yung dapat sila. Pero pag nagsama siya, kasi si Ibram, dapat rin dyan. Ang gawin mo niya pa. Hindi ko rin sa Hindi siya na makapag-hire sa Pilipinas. What the? 10,000 per year, magkakagawa pa yung mga pinag-inala niya, mga private sa US. Government to government agreement, pwede. Exempted. Sila na din ang negosyo. May napakarami ko, hindi nga nila mapasama sa mga kailangan na may
I want a pizza.
$1,000 in capital for my company, Start My Dream. And my dream was to transform teen lives. I want to teach teens how to fall madly in love with themselves and how to make integrity-based decisions. And I got it funded, and I started working. And that was the beginning of me rescuing myself. I realized that I am my rescue. No one else is my rescue. I am my rescue.
My name is Helen Damon Moore, and I'm the Director of Service and Education at the Tucker Foundation here at Dartmouth College. I am honored to welcome you all and to introduce John Kabat-Zinn on behalf of the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center Pale.
1 in 7 children does not have enough food to lead a healthy and active life. But what does it take to end global hunger? It costs 80 cents to feed one hungry child for one.
We can turn on stress response just by thought alone. If I think about our problems, we turn on those chemicals. That means then our thoughts could make us sick. So if it's possible that our thoughts could make us sick, is it possible then our thoughts could make us well? The answer is absolutely yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to Impact Theory. Our goal with this show and company is to introduce you to the people and ideas that will help you actually execute on your dreams. All right, today's guest is a New York Times best-selling author and one of the most sought-after speakers in the world. He's lectured and given advanced workshops in more than 30 countries across 5 continents, all with the aim of helping people better understand and unlock the power of their mind. His expertise is the intersection of the fields of neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics, and he's partnered with other scientists across multiple disciplines to perform extensive research on the effects of meditation, using advanced technologies such as epigenetic testing, brain mapping with EEGs, and gas discharge visualization technology. Through his work, he is endeavoring to help advance both the scientific community and the public at large's understanding of mind-derived health optimization, a topic he covered extensively in his groundbreaking book, You Are the Placebo. His teaching has had such a profound impact on the way that people perceive a wide range of brain-related topics around mindfulness and well-being that he's a faculty member at the Quantum University in Hawaii, the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies in New York, and the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. He's also an invited chair of the research committee at Life University in Atlanta, as well as a corporate consultant where he delivers his lectures and workshops for businesses. So please help me in welcoming the man who has appeared in such films as Heal, People versus the State of Illusion, and Unleashing Creativity, the author of the recent book Becoming Supernatural, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Thanks for being here. So diving into your world and how you perceive the sense of self and the way that you marry science to the way that we form memories, the way that we live in a perpetual state of reliving our past and things like that, it's really, really incredible. And I want to dive into the whole notion of you sort of being a habitual construct. Like what is
Repetition. The habit is when you've done something so many times that your body now knows how to do it better than your mind. So if you think about it, people wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they all of a sudden feel unhappy, they feel sad, they feel pain. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So the person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. So what does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be predictable future. So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, by very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past. And for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then people grab their cell phone, they check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook, they take a picture of their feet, they post it on Facebook, they tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news, and now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. And then they go through a series of routine behaviors. They get out of bed on the same side, they go to the toilet, they get a cup of coffee, they take a shower, they get dressed, they drive to work the same way, they do the same things, they see the same people, they push the same emotional buttons, and that becomes the routine, and it becomes like a program. So now they've lost their free will to a program, and there's no unseen hand doing it to them. So when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. So then person can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free. But the body's on a whole different program. So then how do you begin to make those changes? Well, you have to get beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. And that's where meditation comes in, because you can teach people through practice how to change their brainwaves, slow them down. And when they do that properly, they do enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. They wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up.
That's really interesting, and where I found the deepest hooks into how powerful this can be for somebody is when you talk about trauma, and you've talked about how people experience a traumatic event, but they then basically rehearse it, and how that then has this knock-on effect. So what is that? Why do people find it so hard to get past trauma?
Well, the stronger the emotional reaction you have to some experience in your life, the higher the emotional quotient, the more you pay attention to the cause. And the moment the brain puts all of its attention on the cause, it takes a snapshot, and that's called a memory. So long-term memories are created from very highly emotional experiences. So what happens then is that people think neurologically within the circuitry of that experience, and they feel chemically within the boundaries of those emotions. And so when you have an emotional reaction to someone or something, most people think that they can't control their emotional reaction. Well, it turns out if you allow that emotional reaction, it's called a refractory period, to last for hours or days, that's called the mood. I say to someone, hey, what's up? You say, I'm in a mood. Well, why are you in a mood? Well, I had this thing happen to me 5 days ago, and I'm having one long emotional reaction. If you keep that same emotional reaction going on for weeks or months, that's called temperament. Why is he so bitter? I don't know. Let's ask him. Why is he so bitter? Why are you bitter? Well, I had this thing happen to me 9 months ago. And if you keep that same emotional reaction going on for years on end, that's called a personality trait. And so learning how to shorten your refractory period of emotional reactions is really where the work starts. So then people, when they have an event, what they do is they keep recalling the event because the emotions of stress hormones, the survival emotions, are saying pay attention to what happened because you want to be prepared if it happens again. Turns out most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear. And they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So then you say to the person, why are you this way? And they'll say, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 15 or 20 years ago. And what that means from a biological standpoint is that they haven't been able to change since that event. So then the emotions from the experience tend to give the body and the brain a rush of energy. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring, firing and wiring the same circuits and sending the same emotional signature to the body. Well, what's the relevance behind that? Well, your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between the experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. So the body's believing it's living in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And so then when those emotions influence certain thoughts, and they do, and then those thoughts create the same emotions, and those same emotions influence the same thoughts, now the entire person's state of being is in the past. So then the hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before, period. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. There's going to be some uncertainty.
Why does it feel so uncomfortable? Is it because of the neurons that fire together, wire together, so there's like an easiness to that loop, just because literally, and you've talked very eloquently about this, the way that the neurons connect in the brain, how rapidly, I've seen you show footage of how rapidly those connections happen, which is pretty incredible. Is that what makes it so discomforting for people?
I think that the bigger thing is that we keep firing and wiring those circuits. They become more hardwired. So you have a thought, and then the program runs. But it's the emotion that follows the thought. If you have a fearful thought, you're going to feel anxiety. The moment you feel anxiety, your brain's checking in with your body and saying, yeah, you're pretty anxious. So then you start thinking more corresponding thoughts equal to how you feel. Well, the redundancy of that cycle conditions the body to become the mind. So now, when it comes time to change, a person steps into that river of change and they make a different choice, and all of a sudden, they don't feel the same way. So the body says, well, you've been doing this for 35 years. You're going to just stop suffering and stop feeling guilty and stop feeling shameful, and you're not going to complain or blame or make excuses or feel sorry for yourself. Well, the body's in the unknown. So the body says, I want to return back to familiar territory. So the body starts influencing the mind, and it says, start tomorrow. You're too much like your mother. You'll never change. This isn't going to work for you. This doesn't feel right. And so if you respond to that thought as if it's true, that same thought will lead to the same choice, which will lead to the same behavior, which will create the same experience, which will produce the same emotion.
I want to talk about that notion of, give me a little more detail on what you mean by the body becomes the mind or the unconscious mind. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, those are two different things. Your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst-case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it. But really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master. And the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. And people say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes, and rehearsing the action.
Rehearsing the reaction of what you want, or the action?
The action of what you want. By closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing some action. If you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between what you're imaging and what you're experiencing in 3D world. So then you begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like the event has already occurred. Now, your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. And if you keep doing it, priming it that way, the hardware becomes a software program. And who knows, you just may start acting like a happy person. And then I think the hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. So what does that mean? You can't wait for your success to feel empowered. You can't wait for your wealth to feel abundant. You can't wait for your new relationship to feel love, or your healing to feel whole. I mean, that's the old model of reality of cause and effect, waiting for something outside of us to change how we feel inside of us. And when we feel better inside of us, we pay attention to whoever or whatever caused it. But what that means then is that from the Newtonian world is that most people spend their whole life living in lack, waiting for something to change out there.
What do you mean the Newtonian world?
The Newtonian world is all about the predictable. It's all about predicting the future. But the quantum model of reality is about causing an effect. The moment you start feeling abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth. The moment you're empowered and feel it, you're beginning to step towards your success. The moment you start feeling whole, your healing begins. And when you love yourself and you love all of life, you'll create an equal. And now you're causing an effect. And I think that's the difference between living as a victim in your world, saying, I am this way because of this person or that thing or this experience. They made me think and feel this way. When you switch that around, you become a creator of your world. And you start saying, my thinking and my feeling is changing an outcome in my life. And now that's a whole different game, and we start believing more that we're creators of reality.
So how do we go from, okay, I have this negative emotion, it's controlling my life, it's got me in this cycle of, I think about this emotion, which triggers a chemical reaction, which trains my body to feel that way, which makes it easier and more likely I will do it again, and so now I'm in this vicious cycle.
And it's unconscious.
Right, and you said, does your thinking create your environment, or does your environment create your thinking, which I thought was really, really interesting. So how do we then go from that, like mechanistically, to begin this visualization process of something that's empowering? It's me in a different state. It's my future self. Is it meditation? Is it, what does that look like?
If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the old memories of the past, and you will be predictable in your life. And if you wake up in the morning and you're not being defined by a vision in the future, as you see the same people and you go to the same places and you do the exact same thing at the exact same time, it's no longer that your personality is creating your personal reality. Now your personal reality is affecting or creating your personality. Your environment is really controlling how you think and feel unconsciously, because every person, everything, every place, every experience has a neurological network in your brain. Every experience that you have with every person produces an emotion. So some people will use their boss to reaffirm their addiction to judgment. They'll use their enemy to reaffirm their addiction to hatred. They'll use their friends to reaffirm their addiction to suffering. So now they need the outer world to feel something. So to change then is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world. And the environment is that seductive. So then why is meditation the tool? Well, let's sit down, let's close our eyes. Let's disconnect from your outer environment. So if you're seeing less things, there's less stimulation going to your brain. If you're playing soft music or you have earplugs in, less sensory information coming to your brain, so you're disconnecting from your environment. If you can sit your body down